I'm going to open up with this quick introduction. I'm going to be talking about some things which are political. Yeah, I just realized I walked into the trash can area. That's all right, I'm just walking around. I'm going to get a little political with this one, so I'm hoping that I don't get filtered. If I do get filtered and they won't let me monetize the channel, I'll post it anyway. I've never been blocked. I've always found a way to fix the problem. So I typically don't go this political, but this one here is. I'm going to try to cover what the options are this next 2-3 months. I hope you're paying attention because you need to be ready for it. Now, if they try to block this video, I may just post this video to tell you that they blocked my video. I'm going to put this in the beginning as an intro, but if they won't let the whole video go up, I'll just put this up. We're not going to be able to do this much longer. I've been unable to upload to Rumble, and I don't know who's causing the problem. I don't know if it's Google or what, but there's a definite problem. So, hang on, people, it's about to get big. Good morning, everyone. Put my glasses up, they pull my collar down and make it look like it's not clean, but it is. Anyhow, I hope you're having a great day. Get a chance to do another video from my son's donation center, so we get to talk again. So what I want to talk about today is what's coming, what's on the horizon, what can we expect over the next 2 or 3 months. So the problem is the enemy's got a number of things that they can do. Evil will win hands down over good every time if God doesn't step in, because evil has no limit to what they will do. They don't care if they murder people, like we're seeing over in Israel and their surrounding areas. They don't care if you die. They want you to die. That's Satan. He wants the whole world to die, because if there's nobody left to carry on God's promise that he made to Abraham, then he wins. So, what's coming up? Well, we got a number of ways to look at this. I can't tell you definitely what's going to happen. Nobody does. I mentioned already that even Glenn Beck, who's really good at predicting the future, couldn't tell us what's coming. So, in the United States, we have an election coming up. It's about 2 months away now. Remember, it's in the beginning of November, so we don't really count November. We're a week into September, so it's 2 months away. That's not a lot of time. And with the war going on over there, our current fearless leader is trying to get credit for bringing peace. But everything that he wants them to do is to basically surrender, roll over, and die. That's what he wants them to do, and they're not willing to do that. Good for them, but he's not getting credit. If he was really smart, but he's not. If the people were really smart, but they're not, that are running things, they tell them to do something that's good for them and get credit for it. But they're not willing to do that because evil doesn't like to tell you to do good. Any case, are we going to have an election or are we not? There are a number of reasons why we may not have one. And I'm going to cover those just to let you know that we are thinking about this. We just don't know which option they're going to take. Most of them are horrific options, and they could easily willfully take any of them. That's the problem. Now, we've seen them try to target the big T. Now, they didn't do a very good job, so I'm guessing that that was not a deliberate attempt to remove him. That was just a threat. Shot across the bow, if you will. They could do a lot better job if they wanted to. One of the first things that he would have to do when he got in would be to put better people into all these positions before he goes out. Okay, so if you eliminate the candidates, you don't have to have an election. So that's one way of getting around it. We know that under martial law, you can suspend elections for a period of time until they haven't completely taken over the government yet. They haven't fixed the Supreme Court in their favor, but that's already been proposed. They just haven't implemented it yet. So they have to have time to do that. The Supreme Court would shut them down. Our Constitution would be in force, and they can't do what they want to do. Our Constitution is the greatest threat to the people running the government now. They've tried to do things and they keep getting shut down. So, you can eliminate the candidates. You can cause something major in this country. For 9/11, it got everybody paying attention, and we were actually united for about 2 weeks. Both parties were all behind it. So they could stage something else like that. There are millions of people here that aren't supposed to be here. How many of them come here to look for work? A small percentage. How many are here to destroy the United States? The majority. So there's lots of people. If they all, just like with Israel, if all of them started launching missiles at the same time, they couldn't keep up. But they know Israel would launch a retaliatory attack on Iran and could basically put them back to the Dark Ages. The last time that they launched missiles from Iran, Israel flew some sorties in there, didn't do a lot of damage, but just said, look, we can get to your critical structures here, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. That's why Iran, even though they've been mouthing off, like, we're going to retaliate, they haven't really retaliated because they know Israel could eliminate them from all the stuff. In fact, they should preemptively do that, really. I think the only reason that they're not is they're waiting to see what happens in November. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff waiting to see what happens in November besides us. The rest of the world is watching, knowing that if they stay in power, Camilla has said she's going to eliminate Social Security, eliminate military pensions, and a number of other pensions would be taxed beyond belief. So there would basically be no other money coming to you. So if you're retired like me, who's relying almost exclusively on my retirement money, it would all be gone. You see why I'm prepping? I can last a little while. Now, they would cause a revolution in this country if they were to do that. They would. But, of course, they wouldn't do that unless they were to bail people out. They would come back in and say, well, look, we had to cut this stuff off because they were in the red and we didn't have any money. But what we're going to do here is we're going to give you some digital dollars, which we can do. Sign up for this and we'll take care of you. Now, this is going to come in before the mark of the beast does. They have to get it in place before they can tell people we're going to cut you off. So they're going to put this in place first. So this is one of the things that could happen. So if they get into power, the United States is gone as a world power. It is gone as a Christian nation. It is gone as a business nation. Every government entity is going to come in and take over, and you won't be able to do anything. Okay, so they don't want to lose power. That is their ultimate goal, to not lose power. So they could prevent us from having an election by staging something big. What's something big? They're not going to blow up 2 towers anymore. That's already been done. They could stage riots in every major city. Remember the BLM stuff when they did that? But that eventually died out. But they've got enough people here and enough military armament, they could basically stage this and do it indefinitely. So that's one option. There could be some major explosions. They could blow up key areas. They could blow up the Golden Gate Bridge. They could blow up, a nuclear power plant. They have the ability to do that. They could order the military to start shooting people. Of course, the good people in the military would refuse to do so. But remember, Hitler got into power. He created his own police force, the SS, and they carried out most of the stuff. Every time they saw somebody rise up and try to correct things, that person would be eliminated. The SS job was to do that. Putin has his own secret police over there too. Dictators learn to have that because you can't rely on the military. That's where coups come in. Okay, so something big could happen. And this is my first guess of what's happening in the future, is that something big is going to happen to allow them to put in martial law. If they wanted to kill Big T, they would have done it. They just would have got somebody else in there. And the people pretty much know what's going on. Okay, the other option, and we had it last time, and I'm a firm believer that they stole the last election. They could do it again. They still have the same voting machines that we know they can go in and hack, because we found proof that they did. In Georgia, they took 20,000 votes from Trump and moved them over to Biden on the voting machines. They also can have their 1 a.m. delivery of all the ballots in the world you can think of. There's only 20,000 people in your district. Well, we can still put 1 million people to vote there because no one's going to stop us. That's their belief, and they've gotten away with it. So they could try that again. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying they could. So that's another option. If they can't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Trump is defeated and Camilla is elected, if they can't prove that, I'm afraid they'd cause a revolution in this country. But they're ready for that. And they will put it down as fast as they possibly can. And they don't care how many people they have to kill to do it. They want to eliminate 80% of the world population, these people. So they don't care how many people have to be killed. Now, they could get us into a war with somebody. Again, they could suspend the election because of that. We could be attacked. Russia could launch a missile at us. Another shot across the bow, but they could shoot it at something important and take something out to say, look, knock it off. Now, Russia knows that we're not sending trillions of dollars to Ukraine. Why would we do that? Well, we're not. We're laundering money. They're getting their take, but most of that money is coming back, going into hidden coffers in the United States. So if they do lose, they can still run the programs that they want to run because the money will be available. If they don't gain the House controls the money. Obamacare is still in effect. It's been defunded, but it's still in effect. If they could find a way to fund it, it'd go back into effect. So all the trillions going over there are coming back in bulk and going away and hiding away. Have I got any proof of that? No. I just know these people. Trillions of dollars, they could have launched an endless supply of missiles at Russia and won the war. They haven't done that. So they're not using all the money. And why should a country small like that, like Texas, have more money than the United States does? It doesn't need that. It's being laundered. It's logical. So the money's coming back here, planning on continuing their programs. Even if they find a way to shut them down, they're going to continue to fund them. And this money could be used to rescue Medicare or Medicaid, but they're not going to do that. They want it shut down because they want people to die. Understand that. The administration and the people that are the puppeteers want you dead. It's plain and simple. Okay, so they can eliminate the contendants, they can have something major happen and put us in suspension. We could go to war and again suspend things. They could steal the election again. They've got multiple ways that they can win this election coming up. This is all planned. They've planned it out. They've thought it out. What's going to happen if this doesn't work or this works differently than the way we planned it? They've planned it out. They have contingencies. This is well thought out. These are not stupid, ignorant people. They're acting like it, so you'll give them credit for being stupid, ignorant people and not evil people, which they are. Okay, there's still another option out there. They could let Trump win. You say, but that's not what they want. Of course it's not what they want. But they could, as a last resort, let him win and then trigger, just like our terrorists do over in Israel area, they could plant bombs along the path. I don't mean physical bombs in the White House, but they could have bombs to where the stock market will crash, your monetary system will crash, the housing market can crash. All these are right on the edge right now, and they could have triggers in there designed to cause them to crash. So as soon as he gets into office, everything crashes. Sort of like Bush getting into office and the towers crashing. That's the terrorist way of doing things. They could have that rigged. So the bottom line is it's not a pleasant future. It is not going to be good. No matter which way it goes, evil is basically running this. Satan has been given a certain amount of time to set things up, and he's setting things up. The harlot is helping him set things up. This is very, very biblical. The Antichrist human side is helping the beast to do this. When they get to the point of it being ready for him to take over, we're out of here. The Antichrist will then kill the beast and take over completely. And this is all going to happen very fast. There's only, if you count from the beginning, assuming the tribulation starts right after the rapture, if you count from the beginning, he only has 3.5 years to get peace in the Middle East, to take over, have peace in the Middle East, and build a temple. Now, it doesn't say how long they're sacrificing the temple. They could only be doing that for 6 months, maybe a year. They could have maybe just started. But he's going to go in there and defile the temple. At that point, his reign is over. The Jews will know who he is. The Muslims will know who he is. And God will have had it. And he's going to release the bowls of wrath. You can still be a Christian during the tribulation. Now, if you're a Christian at the rapture, you're going up. But if you're refusing to accept what you know to be true, you're going to be left behind. If those seeds were planted in good soil, you will eventually accept Christ. What do you have to do to accept Christ? You have to repent, say, I'm sorry, Jesus, I admit that I'm a sinner. I'm turning from those sinful ways. I'm asking you into my life, into my heart. I want to be a Christian. I want to be born again. I accept your sacrifice, your free sacrifice to pay for my sins. I accept that. You can do that at any time. The thief on the cross essentially said that to Jesus when he was hanging next to him. Remember me when you go to paradise. He wanted to be remembered by Jesus. That's as good as an invitation. Don't wait till you're hanging on a cross to say that. If you can say that now, we're still here. We haven't had the rapture. You can take the escape route. You say, well, that's just escapism. You're just waiting to get out of here. Well, yes, we're anxious to get out of here, but we've got work to do while we're doing it. We can multitask, or at least God can. He can multitask. Remember, there's 3 of them. There's only 1 of us. All right, so it's going to get scary to the world. They're going to come in and say, well, we're here to save you. Like Reagan said, his famous quote, what's the worst thing you can hear? We're here from the government and we're here to help. Yeah, they're going to save you from what they created. Don't believe it, don't fall for it. Now, again, take the digital money because that's going to be the only way you're going to live. It's the mark of the beast that you don't want. And you don't get the mark of the beast unless you bow down to the Antichrist. That's the part that will keep you from ever getting to heaven. Never bow down to the Antichrist. You're going to get the digital money first. That's going to come in. Take it. Don't worry about it. If you've got cash, it may or may not be worth anything. Your bank account may or may not be worth anything. And believe me, the government's going to make it worth your while to get you to switch to digital money. They may say, we'll give you 3 to 1, 10 to 1. You got $1,000, we'll give you $5,000. Whatever it is, they're going to buy you into digital money because it doesn't cost them anything to print it. And our dollar will go to 0 so that all of our debt that we owe to China and everybody else will go to 0 too. They've planned this. These are not stupid people. They may act like it. It's like I love talking about the shows I watch. Columbo. Very disarming. Bumbling. Yet he always got the bad guy because the bad guy dropped his defenses because what's this idiot going to do? Yeah, well, you know. One more thing. You know why he looked down a lot? It's part of his mannerisms, but he put it to use. He couldn't remember the lines. TV shows are hard because you've got to remember a TV show script in a couple of days. And they change it all the time sometimes. So you may get new pages. They start off white, and every time they change it, you get another color. They can change it daily. So you got to memorize all this stuff. It's hard to do sometimes. I've done it. And I've had to say the lines, and sometimes it's taken me twice to remember the lines long enough to say them. And then you got to say them with feeling, so you got to add that to it. But Columbo used to look down all the time, so he put the scripts on the ground or on top of tables or whatever he was looking at, so he could look down at the script. He didn't sit there and go, and now I'm supposed to ask you. No, he didn't do that. He'd look at it, get it in his head, and then translate that into acting. So he's good. He's good at it. But he needed help. A lot of people. What's his name? Dean Martin. Never went off a script. On his TV show, when he did his TV show, it was all on teleprompters or on cards. They didn't have teleprompters then. On cards. They'd write it in big block letters on cards, and people would hold up the card, and then somebody else, as he walks over to the other side of the room, somebody else over there would hold up another card, and he'd look at the cards. You don't have to sit there and read them. When I worked on the video with Nichelle Nichols, she was reading off a teleprompter, but you couldn't tell. But she'd scan across the room looking like she's looking to the audience, and she'd pick up the line off the teleprompter and then say it, and then come back and pick up the next line. Now, she wasn't going like this, like a tennis match. She choreographed it because she was a pro. I was running the teleprompter. All right. Our president runs off the teleprompter. So does the vice president. They're all doing this because it's scripted. Now, for them, it's very easy to memorize this stuff because you know what they want. strap yourself in. It's going to get bumpy here soon. And September is the 7th year of the Revelation 12 sign, which is followed right after by the rapture. Are they back to back? Well, certainly within 7 years. God always allows people time. He warns them and gives them time to change. But 7 years, that's a sign of completion. I think we're done. So I'm personally looking for the rapture this month or next. I can be wrong, but I'm looking at the world. Satan is just chomping at the bit, ready to be out there. He wants to take over. He can't while we're here. We're the restraining force. At least the spirit in us is. That's why it's Christians that are being raptured. If you're not a Christian, you don't have the spirit in you, you're not restraining the devil. Be a Christian, become a restraining force, and you get to get out of here. All right, until we meet in the clouds soon. God bless.